Hello, if you clicked on this video, you probably know who Mrwhosetheboss is. 22.5 million subscribers, over 2,000 videos, one of the biggest tech creators on the platform, and apparently the United States, aka Border Patrol, had an issue with him. In an interview with Dexato, Dexato are the guys who do interviews with Mr. Beast, Jacksepticeye, Don Rager, and apparently he talked about a pretty horrifying situation. So I'll let him tell the story.
Oh God. So this isn't the biggest offer I've turned down. This is the biggest offer that I was never able to make. So we got an offer a few years ago to cover a high-tech stadium being built in the US. It was $300,000. So I was like buzzing. And I've never told anyone this before, but packed my bags, flew to the US, and I got interviewed by Border Control. They said, what are you here for? And they said, come this way. So they took me to a back room, and they said in this back room, you can't take your phone out. So I had like all the people from the sponsor and stuff like that waiting for me at the pickup area, and I couldn't tell them that I'd been pulled into this room.
He was hired to cover a high-tech sports stadium that was being built in the United States, and him being one of the largest tech creators in the platform, he was hired presumably to do a sponsored video to talk about this high-tech sports stadium. And apparently, while entering into the country, he was detained by Customs and Border Patrol for spoilers ahead in a future article that it was about a visa issue. And looking at the situation where he was detained, it's very hard not to play the risk card, because there are millions of content creators who do this type of work of entering the country legally, shooting the videos, and then leaving. And apparently it was a problem for Mrwhosetheboss. But I don't think a visa issue justifies what Mrwhosetheboss goes through next.
Eventually, like probably a couple of hours had gone, it started to become really accusatory. And eventually, they took me into a deeper room. And I was scared at this point. All the guards were armed. They took me into a cell, and they actually like took all my clothes off and like felt around in all sorts of ways, like very violating stuff, let's just say that. And then they let me kind of put my clothes back on, but they still didn't give me my phone. And I was stuck in this cell, no ability to contact anyone. Family had no idea where I was. I remember just feeling like inhuman. 26 hours passed before I got sent back home. I got deported, and they didn't even give me my phone till the flight had taken off.
A Border Patrol agent could have easily asked him for his channel, looked it up, and seen he was a popular tech creator, and they could have easily let him into the country. It doesn't justify what they did to him. And if you have common sense, it seems that this should have been an easy issue to solve.
So that's when I was able to actually text my family, yeah, sorry guys, it all fell apart. Every single time I go to the US now, I get taken to a second room, I get interviewed because this like black mark is next to my name. And I'm scared. I don't like it.
Because you feel like a criminal every single time, even though you have done nothing wrong. Imagine that you get pulled over every time you start your car and leave the drive. A police officer comes, asks for your ID, registration, your tags, and searches your car. Every single time that you are driving, you will not feel great as a person. You will feel abused and harassed. You'll also be just feeling nervous every time you get into your car, because you as a person, you've not been jailed for any particular crime, and you're an innocent person. In an article, it was confirmed that the reason that Mrwhosetheboss was detained, it was because he was fleeing with the incorrect visa for his trip. It seemed like it was a personal visa or a guest visa and not a business visa. And heads up, it's not easy to get into the United States using a business visa, and most likely Aaron was aware of this, and that's why most likely he tried to enter into the country using a personal visa, and that's why it went bad for him. All this is in the article, it's not in the video, because with a tourist visa, it's easy. People coming to the country, they spend money and then they leave, which is much easier for the United States to accept them compared to a business visa, where people do spend money, yes, but also they do make money, which is a bit controversial right now in the United States. And usually people do mess up their visas several times, but it does not justify them being taken into a cell and being mistreated. This happens all the time, and it shouldn't be the case. And Aaron being treated like a criminal is weird because mostly this does not happen. And because he's not white, this could have been a reason why he was detained. And you'd think that this would have been illegal, the treatment that he went through. But actually, Customs and Border Patrol has a wide range of effects where they can hold you for any reason, for any purpose or reason, and for a limited time period. They have a really wide scope and they cannot be taken to court. They have the power of warrantless search and inspection, where they can search any person entering to the country. They also have the power of immigration inspection and electronic device searches and secondary inspection and detention. And basically, all the protections that you'd think you'd have in such a situation do not apply because if they believe that you're an alien coming into the country to commit a crime, they can do anything with you. And it seems like what they and I'm not under and I'm against what they did to Aaron, holding him for 28 hours or more, seems to be purely vindictive because it did not particularly achieve anything. They probably did this to him to teach him a lesson. Yes, he did something wrong with his visa, but that does not really justify what he really did go through. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.